Well, thank you very much. It is very nice to be here with so many Republicans. Kathy Adams, thank you for being here, and so many volunteers who make our party the great party that we are. I am pleased today to file for governor of the greatest state in America. And I'm filing because I think it is time that we had future leadership, a governor that wakes up every morning to say, I want to do what's best for Texas today. A governor that plans for our future, a governor that wants to improve education, that will solve the transportation issues that have been plaguing our state for the last 10 years, to protect private property rights, to make sure that there is never a question that private property rights in Texas will be protected. I want to stand for security of our borders, make health care more affordable, and address ethics reform to end cronyism and mismanagement in the governor's office. As governor, you can trust that I will work to keep taxes low. That is my record in the Senate. I have been a leader in cutting taxes at the state when I was the leader that stood up and fought a state income tax, and at the Senate level where I fought to lower taxes for all Texans and all Americans. As governor, I will work to assure that we have an education system that puts Texas the best in the country in education, a Texas student body population that will be able to get the good jobs of the future. We must have an education system that meets the needs of Texas in 2025, not 1995. As governor, people will be able to trust that I will end the Trans-Texas Corridor once and for all, that I will lead the effort to reorganize the leadership of the Texas Department of Transportation. This is the most arrogant agency. You talk to any local official, and if they know that they will not be quoted by name, they will tell you that it is impossible to deal with the leadership at TxDOT. That is not the kind of agency that we should have in this state. Texas used to have the reputation for the best highways in America. They were freeways and they were well done. I want to return Texas to that kind of preeminence. As governor, I will fight for private property rights. I will not allow the government to take your property, underpay you for it, ruin its value to you, and give it to a foreign-owned company. I will not do that. As governor, I will work with Texas law enforcement to assure that if we have illegal aliens who are committing crimes, that they will have the tools necessary to deport these people from our state. As governor, I will protect our children. I will never do an executive order that tells parents that they must vaccinate a 12-year-old girl without their parental consent. That's not conservative, and it's not the kind of policy Republicans should put forward. I will lead a Republican Party worthy of governing Texas. I will lead a ticket that will help our down-ballot candidates. I will be the candidate who can win this election and strengthen the Republican Party and assure that we have good government from top to bottom in our state. I'm running for governor to keep America and keep Texas safe, to keep Texas the #1 state in our nation. I want to make sure that we are doing our part, and I know that I can do that. I am putting my name on the ballot for governor of Texas and asking Texans for the opportunity to lead our state. I am the conservative who can win this race. Thank you.
Any questions?
Senator, it's still your plan to resign from the Senate seat, win or lose, after the primary, correct?
I am running for governor of Texas. I am focused on this primary. I will leave the Senate, absolutely. There's no question about that. Right now, I'm focused on running for governor and making sure that Texans have a choice in leadership for our state.
Why do you want to leave the Senate? Why do you not want to complete the term voters elected?
I'm talking about running for governor today and the things that I want to do, and I've outlined the key parts of my campaign, and that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 2 months.
Senator, what are your thoughts on Houston Mayor Bill White? His candidacy for governor now has seemed to energize a lot of Democrats in Texas. Your thoughts about possibly facing him in a general election?
Well, I think certainly he's a credible candidate, and I think that makes it more important for Republicans to nominate the candidate who can win. I'm the conservative who can keep Texas conservative, and I know I am the stronger candidate in the general election, and I hope that Republicans will look for the person who will lead Texas for the future, who will address the issues of Texas, and who can win this race.
There are a lot of people who possibly could agree with you on that issue, but think you can't get out of the primary because there are a lot more conservative voters in the primary who would choose your opponent, the incumbent. So what is your strategy to get out of the primary?
Well, number one, I'm a conservative. And number two, I have won elections by over 60% of the vote every time that I have been on the ballot. Governor Perry got 39% of the vote the last time he ran. So I think Republicans will look at winning, they will look at strengthening the Republican Party, and they will see that I am the candidate who can win and keep Texas a good state for the future, planning for the future, and that I can win a statewide general election and clearly am the stronger candidate.
Your statement about the police and undocumented residents of the state sounded like a hit on Houston Mayor Bill White. Many people think Houston's a sanctuary city. Do you think Houston's a sanctuary city?
Well, I am very concerned about any sanctuary city, and I'm not here to judge, but I am here to say that I voted not to allow federal funding for sanctuary cities. We must be serious about our efforts to stop drug trafficking that would come into our state, which is getting more violent. Just saw an article this weekend about the drug cartels now going into legitimate businesses and trying to get into Texas as well as a few other states. That's alarming. And our law enforcement officers must be willing to stop the violence and the drug cartels from entering our state, and I want to give them the tools to do that.
But has Houston not done enough in that regard? I mean, that's been one of the criticisms of Mayor White.
We will be pursuing an election against Bill White after I'm the nominee.
Are you looking to attract more voters to the Republican primary than usual, or do you think you can win it with the number that typically vote in the primary?
I believe that I will win the Republican primary regardless of the size of the primary. I can't imagine that the size of the primary will be small because there is so much interest in this race. And frankly, Republicans around Texas want to look at the state of our party. They see that we have lost 5 of the 6 largest counties in Texas. They see that we have a razor-thin margin in the Texas legislature. I think Republicans are going to be looking for the leader who will strengthen our party, who will strengthen our majority in the Texas legislature, who will assure that Texas is going to have good, solid, conservative leadership for the future, and I think they will see that I'm the right nominee.
Senator, could you elaborate a little bit on your proposal to reform, ethics reform, and as you say, end cronyism? Exactly what? Rejigger
Yes,
the
this
appointment
will
system?
be my last
This is the last
question.
question here.
And I think it is very important that we set standards in place for our state government. We don't have term limits for governor, and I think we have seen from a governor that controls every agency, every commission, every board of regents, and with the arrogance and the pressure that is put on those nominees that he has made, I don't think it's healthy, and I think it's time for us to have term limits for governor. Number 2, I think we need to have campaign finance reform. It is time that we have limits on campaign contributions so that people know that you're not going to be able to buy access with millions of dollars in campaign contributions. I think we can open it up and let everyone feel like they have a part in our government. I think we need to stop the revolving door of lobbyist to chief of staff of the governor, to lobbyist to chief of staff of the governor, and back to lobbyist, and then to a commission or a board that will have a loyalty to the governor. I think we need standards of governance, and I am going to put forward ethics reform and government reform going forward. Thank you very much.